lovers, the moon is a thing of beauty. But to this man it is a deadly curse. When the moon is full, this miserable wretch turns into a hairy, snarling half-man, half-beast. Prowls the night, his fangs thirsty for human blood. He is a werewolf.
Hello and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast, the show where we talk about Marvel's #1 lycanthrope, Jack Russell, a.k.a. the Werewolf, a.k.a. the Beast, a.k.a. the Shaggy One, a.k.a. Russell Jackson. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Balcom, and we are joined on this episode by Ray from Into the Night, the Greatest Moon Knight podcast. Hey, Ray.
Hey, how you going, Jacob? How you going, Matt? How are you? Fantastic. It's honored to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you back. Yeah, it's been a while. I think we had you on in the first season. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy that you're back. I've really enjoyed your show. I mean, I love your show. I listen to it every week. And but especially during the Moon Knight TV show, as that was coming up, your recap episodes were so good. They were such a insightful deep dive into the episodes, and you and Rebecca were just amazing.
Oh, thank you. I feel we went a little bit overboard.
No, not at all.
Because we did have those kind of initial reactions, and then inviting just fellow loonies, Moon Knight fans to come over, and we just opened the discussion. It was really fun. It was quite intense because there was a lot of recording, but it was a fun kind of busy moment, and then on top of that doing our regular show as well. But absolutely, it was a fantastic time. You guys are gonna be experiencing the same sort of thing, I'm imagining, with the upcoming Werewolf by Night special. So that will be you guys must be chuffed to bits by it already.
Oh, we're so excited.
I'm very chuffed.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was really exciting. It dropped this last week. Matt and I did a reaction video that we released to everybody on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that, you can go to our Patreon, Patreon/Werewolf by Night podcast, and you can get a YouTube link from there. Anyone can do it. You don't have to be a patron. And yeah, Matt and I were really excited to give our first reactions, which, spoiler alert, were great and exciting. So we are very excited.
Now who's going to watch it?
Yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in. But I can't believe it's a bit early, isn't it, though? Like, it's a Halloween special. It's being released in the first week of October, I think.
October 7th,
yeah. So that'll be good.
We do Halloween early here. I'm pretty sure the Halloween stores are opening right now.
Spirit stores have already been open for 3 weeks at this point. Renee is trying to talk me out of dragging all the things out of the garage and putting up all of these ceramic pumpkin jack-o'-lanterns around the house and getting all these skeletons and severed heads to hang from the walls. So we do it early here.
America loves Halloween.
I'd imagine it's catching on over here as well. Like, I know our neighborhood is slowly celebrating it. You know, they're kind of closing off the streets for the kids to go about. So it's pretty cool.
That's
it has
awesome.
never been really, when I was little, it was never really a thing, but it's really kind of gathering a lot of momentum. Do you guys cut out the fresh pumpkin still? Is that like only okay,
several.
Yep.
So okay, excellent.
Yeah, you have to keep the evil spirits away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you done a Jack Russell one or a
I've done werewolf ones before, not specifically thinking of channeling Jack Russell, but yeah, I'm not much of a fancy lad when it comes to pumpkin carving. I'm more of a just blunt strokes kind of guy. Yeah.
He's a hacker.
Yep.
My wife is an actual artist.
One. Yeah.
So wife. I'm gonna have her kind of trace out a nice Jack Russell one for me. So and then I'll take full credit for it.
Yes. Well, that's the way it goes.
Yeah. And yeah, folks don't want to wander over to Patreon for that. That's also pinned in our Twitter feed, which is @Werewolf Podcast. So if you just want to go and see the pinned tweet, which is a link to the YouTube video, you can check that out. People have been checking it out, which is cool. Not nearly as many as other comics podcasts who are more, or channels on YouTube, which are more gung-ho and more highly produced. They'd make the stupid faces for the thumbnail.
Don't get down on our stuff, Matt. We did great.
I know.
It's totally great.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Well, and a little someone named Michael Giacchino did, retweet it. So there is that.
We are excited. That
those other places don't have that. Yeah, we're gonna interview the director.
Stuff those other places.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. So you do several podcasts though. So why don't you, besides the Moon Knight podcast, and share some of the other ones?
Oh yeah. So thank you.
Because there's a reason you're on this episode.
That's right. So predominantly the Moon Knight podcast, Into the Night. I mean, that was the first one that kind of started, and that's going. We've just breached. Is that right word? Breached 300 episodes. So very happy with that.
Holy crap.
Can't believe. I know. Can you believe there's that much to talk about Moon Knight? I can't. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I also do a Spider-Woman podcast, which I absolutely love. My co-host Saren is a gun. I don't know how else to describe her. She's amazing. To know her is to fear her, a Spider-Woman podcast. So we're a bit less frequent. Monthly, we're trying to go, is it bi-weekly, I guess you'd call it, bi-monthly, whatever. So that's going cool. Going great guns. Again, reference to guns. Also, Last Sons of Krypton, a Superman podcast. And at the end of every month, I'm on Capes and Lunatics, a fantastic podcast show, and I help out with the Scarlet Spider Ben Reilly kind of journey that we go. Yeah, he's cool, isn't he? Yeah, I like Reilly. I like Ben. He's at the same time brilliant, but at the same time, just very bland. but I say that in a good way. Anyway, I'm enjoying the journey through that.
He's not that raconteur that Peter Parker is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dorothy Parker.
I love the fact that he's very kind of grassroots, right? The daily grind. He's a waiter. He's not Flash in any respect. Yeah. And finally, the newest one that I do, which is monthly, is Predator and Prey. It's all to do with the Yautja, or as other people may know it as the Predators. More recently, Prey, the film, was released, and we got the fantastic feedback from you guys on our first episode. So yeah, plenty to check out if you like that sort of stuff.
You got your name in that one.
Yeah.
Capital R Prey.
Well, the guys like to pronounce it Predator and P-Ray, so I'm not sure how to take that, but I'm happy. My name's in it. I'm happy.
Yeah.
So if anyone's just being brash and bold and just jumping in, like saying, I watched the Werewolf by Night trailer, I'm excited, I want to start listening to this show, you missed a bunch of stuff, but that's cool. We're not gatekeepers. You can jump in wherever you want. What we're doing this season is we're talking about Jack Russell's adventures, The Werewolf by Night, after his title got canceled. So he made a bunch of appearances in other people's books, and season 3 of this show is us covering those in more or less chronological order. So welcome. Thanks for checking us out. Format is that Jacob and I take turns kind of walking through the issues with a guest often, and we talk about the stuff. And there's people say we do deep dives and we have a lot of knowledge. I don't know about that. I know Jacob's really smart, but we just love talking about crazy comic books. So somehow that translates into being smart. I don't know why.
I'm going to take the win.
Okay, take that win.
And you guys have had great guests as well. Like, I've been listening in, and it's been a great season so far.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed the guests we've had this season. And we're going through Jack Russell's appearances after his title folded. So some of them are kind of slight, but then others are amazing. Like the last 2 episodes, we did Moon Knight 29 and 30 by Doug Mensch and Bill Sienkiewicz, and those are some of the best comics I've ever read. So it's been a joy to go through his appearances this season.
Yeah, if you are just jumping on at this point, just kind of saying to heck with it, I just want to check this out, I would go back and listen to the last 2 episodes, Moon Knight 29 and 30, because I think Jacob and I those are probably hands down anything. From the first handful of Werewolf issues with Mike Plugart, there's some of the best stuff we've seen and read in this whole run. So that's a great recent place to jump in.
For sure.
Yeah. I would say as well, if you want a sense of the talent that is Doug Mensch and Bill Sienkiewicz, go listen to those last 2 episodes, because you guys do a great job in kind of framing just the sheer talent, like the artistic talent of Sienkiewicz, and the lyricism from Mensch as well. Just fantastic.
I missed Doug. I missed his writing. It was so nice coming back and just wrapping up in that cardigan and having some peppermint tea and hugging my knees and looking out the window at the rainy day. That's what it felt like God rubbing my tummy. Yeah, there's we've branched out, folks. We have a Patreon now. People support us, so you can go to patreon.com/werewolf-by-night podcast. There's several levels of support there. We do a bonus episode every week that is just for those folks. So there's we talk about a werewolf movie. I've been doing the Urge to Scourge, where we talk about the 80s character, the Scourge, who kills middling and mediocre villains. And then we just talk about what else we're reading, what else we're watching, what's going on. So we do that every week. And we gave last week's away for free. So if you want to go to our Twitter feed or to patreon.com, there's a posting there that says free bonus show. So you can check it out and just see like, hey, this is something I wouldn't mind getting every week, because we love doing it. So yeah. I think that's about it. Last thing would be that we have voicemail, and we love to hear from our listeners. So if you have something you want to tell us, or predictions about the Werewolf by Night special or something like that, you can call us at 971-220-5865. That's 971-220-JUNK, and call and play us a message, or leave us a message. I mean, we'll play one.
Hi guys, Jackson T. Overstreet. So, casting couch. I think I finally figured out how to dial it in so you guys know exactly who I'm talking about and how the casting would go. So, picture it. Dino De Laurentiis, instead of buying Silver Cycle the Werewolf, buys the rights to this section of Moon Knight 29 and 30 and gives it over to David Lynch. And so in 1983, instead of doing Dune, he does Moon Knight, but specifically this Moon Knight. And so here we go. Real quick, we've got, and it doesn't matter if they look like the characters, this is just what David would do. And we're on the first name basis. Kyle MacLachlan is Jack Russell. He's 24, perfect age. Everett McGill is Mark Spector. He's 38. He definitely had enough years to be a mercenary. Virginia Madison, Marlene. Jack Nance, Racerhead himself, is Frenchie. He's 40, perfect age. The Baron, Kenneth McMillan, a.k.a. Schuler Belial, the guy who played, is perfect for a, he actually, out of all of them, he's the one who looks the most like, the drawing of him, like anything, Sinkowitz's, drawing. And then finally, the Doctor, Dean Stockwell, because, you know, why not? The only question is, who do you think would do the music? Would it be Toto? Or do you think they would spring and get Brian Eno to do the whole thing? Because, you know, they split up the chores for Dune. And, yeah, I mean, it totally appeals to Lynch because, you know, there's that whole moon imagery, and suddenly you got a guy running around in a moon costume. So it's perfect. Stay furry. Bye, guys.
Okay, so thoughts?
Well, Matt, that couldn't be more up our alley. Like that is, I mean, Jackson, you have sent in the perfect voicemail. So kudos to you, friend, because Matt and I are huge Dune fans. I mean, we love the new one, but we love the Lynch one too, for all of its flaws and weirdness. I actually think it's a great movie, and I think that the actors make it a great movie.
I do have to say, I love Everett McGill, and it was cool they even tied it into Silver Bullet because he was in Silver Bullet. Mm-hmm. And but if we're doing Lynch Dune era casting, I think a better Mark Spector would be Jürgen Prochnow.
Oh, okay.
So he played
yeah,
Duke Leto Atreides, and
he would be good.
This is him around that time. I'm showing pictures. We'll put these in the feed.
He
could be Mark Spector. Am I right?
That is Mark Spector. Yeah,
he could, but man, he has a thick accent.
Yeah, he has a really thick accent. That's true.
I don't
work around that somehow.
They can work around that, you know.
Just dub him.
Yeah, just dub him in.
I love totally the. I had to stop myself from pulling out a yellow flag and saying gratuitous use of Dean Stockwell, 15 yards. But I don't begrudge it. I love Dean Stockwell.
I like Jack Nance. Jack Nance's Frenchie was a pretty cool.
Oh, how perfect would that be?
Yeah, but Frenchie would have to be like a French Canadian, like lager version of Frenchie.
Yeah,
with Jack Nance. But I do like the guy that played Baron Harkonnen as Skylar Belial. That would be. Mwah.
Oh
That's
my God.
absolute perfection.
Oh yeah. No, I love it. Yeah. That voicemail just made me feel amazing.
Yeah.
Even to think about that. Think about Lynch directing. Yeah. Mensch Sienkiewicz Moon Knight run. Holy shit.
Yeah. So Jacob, I heard you during the playback, the audience didn't hear this, but you said or Badalamenti for the music, but I don't think they were working together before Blue Velvet. I think that was their first project together, wasn't it?
I think you're right. Yeah.
So
but,
I think he was pulling from the 1984, 1983 pool that Lynch. I don't know who did the music for Elephant Man, but I can see Eno. I can see some synthy washes and some
Eno.
moody, kind of like what's the guy's name that did the Blade Runner soundtrack? That
Vangelis.
Vangelis, like that kind of vibe.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Eno doing like moody Vangelis stuff like that.
Oh yeah. That would be amazing. I mean, so there's a record store in Portland, Oregon called Jackpot, and they have their own little reissue label, and they reissued the soundtrack to Lynch's Dune. And I got it, and it comes with this really cool poster, and so I have listened to it a lot. Not a huge fan of Toto. No. But that soundtrack is pretty good. I mean, the one Eno track on there is, of course, like 100 times better than any Toto song.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I've said this on a previous episode, but it's the weirdest thing. I have this cat, our cat named Sweet Pea. Whenever we watch Dune, I guess we watch Dune a lot. When it's the end title themes that like Toto plays, she stops what she's doing and goes right up to the television and watches like the dunes, like kind of like the wind go over the dunes and Toto playing. So she's a fan of Toto. It puts her in a trance. It's the weirdest fucking thing. It's so weird.
I'm going to add one more note to this thing. Although he and Mr. David Bowie had not started working together yet at this point, I believe Lynch was a huge fan of Bowie at this point in time. And so I would love to hear David Bowie Moon Knight soundtrack from 1983.
Oh, man.
He's transitioning into that pure pop,
Oof, that'd be good.
Out of the Berlin kind of era. Yeah.
I'm just loving this time capsule of music that we're going through. This is fantastic.
We're not old men, damn it.
Washing back light. That's fantastic.
Yeah. we do eventually talk about comics, I swear.
Yes, we do. So yeah, that's the kind of voicemail that you could have played on the show if you just call 971-220-5865. That's 971-220-JUNK. Easy to remember. Okay, on to the issue. So as we mentioned, Ray, you do a Spider-Woman podcast, so you are uniquely able to discuss this issue with us. I do have an issue with timelines and continuities that's kind of bordering on OCD, a disability.
Bordering on?
So we found out in a letter, somebody asked, hey, when does this 29 and 30 Moon Knight story take place in Jack's timeline? Is it before or after Spider-Woman 48, 49, and 50? And they said it takes place shortly after. So I've been kind of having an eye tick and twitching knowing that I read stuff out of the order that the editor said it was. But I'm going to press on. So supposedly this episode, the next two happened before the previous two episodes. I don't know if it matters. I don't think it does.
No, I don't think so. There was that kind of that thing with Jack Russell, and I mean, obviously, Sienkiewicz's unique take on him. So visually, of course, there's an inconsistency, but and please excuse my ignorance as well. It generally goes back and forth, right, where he can change at will, and then when he succumbs to the moon.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
At this stage, I mean, he has already. Because I know some previous issues, he's already had that little phase of being able to change at will, right?
Yes.
And he's back at being subjected to the moon's whim.
He can change. He has full control 27 days of the month. The 3 nights of the full moon, he has no control over the beast.
Oh, okay.
So he can change at will outside of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we're talking about much ado there. We're talking about Spider-Woman number 48, and this one has a cover date of February 1983. The last time we saw him was in Moon Knight 30, which is cover date April 1983. So again, we just seem to start the whole season over. So the pencils on this one are done by Brian Postman, and the inks are by Brett Breeding. And the last time we saw this character, Gypsy Moth, was in Spider-Woman number 10, a long time ago. So they met briefly, and Spider-Woman said, hey, you're kind of like me in a way. Maybe we should be buddies. And she said, fuck off, and just kept flying or something, right? It was a really brief, weird encounter.
It's off. Yep.
So on this cover here, we have a white field in the background and a large gray something that I don't know what it is. Looks like a safe or a frame or something.
It's weird.
And the
I think it's a
Gypsy,
rug.
Oh, it's a rug. Oh, that makes so much sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Textiles.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
She's textile based. She's Gypsy
She
Moth.
is.
This makes so much sense. Where were you like earlier today when I was scratching my head? So Gypsy Moth is interesting. She just has like a black jumpsuit on with orange leotard over it and gloves and boots and antennae over a cowl and big pigtails coming out the back. She's kind of cute and big wings, big yellow wings. So she is spinning threads off of this giant Turkish rug, thank you, and wrapping up Spider-Woman, who's in the foreground, and it says, unraveling the mystery of Gypsy Moth. And Spider-Woman looks like she's in a lot of trouble here. What do you think of this one, Ray?
It's one of those, I don't know why, but out of the 50 issue covers to the issues for the Volume 1 series, I do remember this quite a lot. I don't know why. Gypsy Moth, she's got a weird kind of, as you mentioned before, weird relationship with Jessica, and she's one of the few antagonists, I would say, that really kind of comes back and is semi-sympathetic, like, you know, we find a story here, so but cover-wise, I like it. It fills up the whole page. The font for Spider-Woman is blacked out, which I think is a good thing because it's quite busy enough as it is as far as covers go. But yeah, no, I like the look of Jessica Drew in this. I think she's done. Postman does a really good rendition of Jessica.
Yeah, I like the title font as well. I like the blacked out, even though Matt and I have talked about this on a previous Spider-Woman issue that we talked about. We both think it's a big mistake to drop the tagline "To Nowhere Is to Fear Her."
Yep.
Yeah,
it's the coolest thing. Like I like that would make me buy the book. So yeah,
I'm sure everything's supposed to be streamlined and sexy and sleek in 1983, but you're losing something big by dropping that.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's similar to, I mean, even just adjectives that you get, you know, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular,
Right.
The Uncanny X-Men, but just to have that tagline, it just gives that little extra oomph, bit of a wow factor for the cover.
You're right.
But yeah,
All horny, all hairy Wolverine.
I forgot about that one.
So I think that this title, this graphic for the logo came about like an issue or two ago. I'm not 100% sure. So Ray, when we started the season off with Spider-Woman number 6. We were just doing Jack Russell appearances. Then we jumped up to 19 when the Enforcer was in there. So I crammed through all this stuff to get these 3 issues in so far, 6, 19, and 32. And just the last 24 hours, I've read 33 through 48. So I
oh my gosh,
crammed a lot down. So just if anybody cares, what happened between when we saw her last with Jack, Chris Claremont took over the following issue, and he got rid of the Scotty McDowell character, who was the man in the chair. They kind of ditched that, and she decided to move to San Francisco with her friend Lindsay McCabe and start anew because she'd been to SF and liked it before. And she has a new boyfriend who is the manager of the apartment building that they live in. His name is David. And they just come back to LA. And this issue, or the previous issue, 47, was when Claremont left and Ann Nocenti came on for the last 4 issues. And the art changed as well. Before it was Steve Leialoha with different inkers, and now it is Brian Postman. Is that his name?
yes.
And, I like Steve Leialoha as the series went on, but between these 2 points, I started to fall out of love with it a little bit. It felt a little rushed, a little strange, kind of the way Infantino's pencils did early on, where sometimes they felt rushed and gnomish or garden gnome or elfish. So I love this guy's work. I also love that when Nocenti came on in the last issue, it was called, the character was called Daddy Longlegs, and it was a guy who was a very small ballet dancer, and he was getting turned down for roles. And so he went to Bill Foster and said, "Can I please have your growth serum?" And Bill Foster said, "No, that's not what it's for." And for some reason, Bill Foster was really weak from giant manning or something. So this kid kicked him in the face, ballet kicked him in the face, and grabbed all the vials and just chugged everything on his work desk and grew into Slender Man. He's basically Black Slender Man. He's fucking horrifying.
Oh my God, what a weird fucking issue. I loved it though. I was so excited when you sent that to me. Oh God. And that, okay, so yeah, a bummer right off the bat. These issues are not on Marvel Unlimited, which is a bummer.
Yep.
So you might have to go to some dark recess of the internet to check these out.
I did.
Although, may I add as well, towards the end of the year, I think you can pre-order it now. Spider-Woman Marvel Masterworks Volume 3 will be on sale.
Okay.
So I think
Excellent.
that covers issue 26 to, I think, around about 40 or something. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Worth checking out.
So yeah, there wasn't a whole lot that I really liked in the Claremont run, to be honest. There was a character that appeared in that Steve Gerber created that appeared in Daredevil called Angar, the Screamer. He was a hippie protester who underwent surgical something, and he had drank some potion so he could scream, and he makes people hallucinate, and they frequently react to what they're seeing. He was just so weird. I liked him. So that was the highlight to me. That and Daddy Longlegs I loved.
Yeah, I think he is also connected to Iron Fist. I think Claremont wrote him in as well. But I would agree with you. I mean, I remember when I first read Volume 1, the anticipation for, number one, for Chris Claremont's run, his series issues, and also Ann Nocenti's. And I just remember being a little bit a little bit disappointed at Chris Claremont's. I love Wolfman and Grunwald's earlier. I mean, that to me, that takes the cake. And I enjoy Nocenti's to an extent as well. But yeah, Claremont's was a little bit flat for me. The Fleischer run, I can see what he was doing. They all have different takes on the character. Fleischer decided to make her a detective, which has lasted.
Yeah, that's lasted.
Yeah, she becomes a detective later in Claremont's run.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. But more street level. That's veering away from the horror vibe. But the Claremont run I thought was I mean, we've got the X-Men and stuff in there, but
how busy was Claremont at this time? Like, this is 1983. Like,
he's too busy to write a lot of words.
Well, that's his thing. He loves writing a lot of words, so he's probably just like, pile it on, shooter. I can do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the opening page. So the title of our story is Original Sin. Our cast of creators are Ann Nocenti scripter, Brian Postman penciler, Sam De La Rosa inker, Rick Parker letterer, Christy Scheel, who has colored the last two issues we talked about as colorist, Mark Grunwald editor, and Jim Shooter editor-in-chief. So let's talk a little bit about these creators. Like you had said, Matt, Ann Nocenti came on the run last issue. She got her start at Marvel in 82 as an assistant editor and writer, though I think her debut issue, weirdly enough, was as a colorist for What If 29. But we've seen that before, how writers like somehow... Who was that got in last time? That was who I can't remember his name. Really cool guy that we love who created.
Mantlo.
Mantlo. He's like one of the greatest Marvel writers. His first credit on GCD as a colorist. So I almost feel like it's some weird like jumping off point. Yeah. So she was a colorist for a backup story in What If 29. I think that's in October 81. Spider-Woman 48, the issue we're reading, is only her third writing credit.
Wow.
And she came on the book, like we said, last issue with that great Daddy Longlegs story. So I mean, Anne's a legend. Like most likely for her run as a writer on Daredevil, she had a long stint as an editor for Uncanny X-Men, New Mutants. She created characters like Typhoid Mary, Longshot, Mojo, Spiral. I think I'm most familiar with her Daredevil run. I think I started reading that as a kid when there was a tie-in at the very end of the Mutant Massacre crossover. There was a tie-in with Daredevil, and I really loved that as a kid. And so I think from there on, I kind of picked up Daredevil whenever I could on the spinner rack. And I mean, she's a superstar. She's universally loved and respected. And I don't know, I think it's cool to read one of her earliest attempts at comic writing, because man, she goes gung-ho with like the purple prose, the noir style. Like she is going for it. And I'm not saying it works every second, but it's pretty awesome. So I was really excited to get to read one of her early issues.
Yeah. I like also just at the end of this issue, because there's a little explanation from Ann Nocenti about how she kind of got the gig as well. And it's funny. It's great. I mean, full credit to Mark Grunwald as well. Essentially just saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a female writer doing a female character? Because, back in the day, they weren't that common. So for him to give the chance to Anne to do that, and for her to take it on board and love the character that she had throughout the issues that she wrote, I think was really kind of inspired from Grunwald. And she did have a writing background though, didn't she? Like there's a mention that she had written a novel or something before. She was a writer in some capacity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Journalist.
Like this isn't her first rodeo, but yeah. So yeah, like you were saying, Matt, Brian Postman is the penciler. And weirdly enough, like he only has like a dozen art credits at Marvel, and they're all between like 82 and 84, including the final 4 issues of Spider-Woman. So there's not a ton about him, honestly, on the internet. It says that he went to the School of Visual Arts in New York City. His teachers were Will Eisner, Harvey Kurtzman, and Art Spiegelman. So who are those guys? And then, but he left Marvel right around 84, I think. He worked in animation for a while, but he's been pretty active the last few years, the last 10 years, really drawing horror stories for indie comics like Warrants the Creeps.
Really?
Yeah. He has a couple credits in the Creeps, which I know you read, Matt.
Yeah. Interesting. I've never noted that name.
So, Sam De La Rosa has worked on and off at Marvel since the 80s. He worked mostly on like various Venom titles over the years. People really seem to dig his 90s Venom work. Mm-hmm. So he's he's worked at Marvel for a very long time. I mean, I honestly think his last credit wasn't that long ago at Marvel.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he's a vet for sure. So yeah, getting into this first page, like I wasn't crazy at first about the opening layout, like 3 long kind of skinny vertical panels. I think maybe it's because the narration was on the bottom. That weirded me out somehow. I don't know why. Rage, what do you think?
I agree with you. It's unorthodox, I think, to open with like 3 vertical panels like this as well. It's funny that you mentioned about the narration at the bottom, because at least for the first maybe 2, you could argue panels, it's very similar to the color of the ground, and it tends to get lost in that, as well as we are used to it kind of being at the top, so yeah, that was a bit strange, just kind of layout wise. I'll give it points for trying something a little bit different. I was anticipating like a splash page that kind of like come after it, because it seems like it's setting up for that. But having said that, what it has in it, as well as you see like Spider-Woman flying down and this kind of hobo, I thought this was funny because in retrospect, reading the issue, you can understand why Ann Nocenti has done this, with the guy covering himself in breadcrumbs and having pigeons. You can see the connection. But when you just first read it, just off the bat, it is so bonkers to me. I was like, okay, and just talking about the full moon, it's kind of, okay, this is crazy. So I enjoyed that kind of part of the first page.
Definitely. And like you said, Jess is flying down and she thinks, so bright tonight, the moon's almost full. That means the crime rate will go up. That old lunar pole draws out the worst in people. Yeah. Which I've read recently that might be a little overstated, actually.
So my note for this was like, was there a USA Today article last month in like 83 about lunar cycles and crime rates? I looked, there was a study done between 78 and 82. So the first headlines were coming out in 82. The full report was released in like 83. It has since been not debunked, but just kind of like the correlations were a little weak, and it was a little bit like they were kind of cherry picking some data and kind of saying like blah blah blah, when it's like, yeah, but look at these other crimes you're not reporting on at different times. That just kind of washes it out. So Yeah, I thought it was funny. That was actually I was right.
That's great.
Yeah. I think it may feed into the whole kind of, myth of this thing and all, but I'd also heard that during full moons, like it's not uncommon for paramedics and stuff to pull in more resources because apparently there are more incidences during the full moon. So I don't know whether that's just a legacy thing that they carry on from their kind of superstitions, but yeah.
I mean, Crawley was talking about it in the last couple issues we were talking about, so that's why I was kind of like, what was in the air in early '83?
Yeah,
it was this dumb report.
Yeah, it's all about the moon. It's all going to be about hating D&D players because they're Satanists. Like any day, like that. That's going to come out real soon.
So,
but yeah, like you said, Ray, like there's this hobo type guy, and yeah, he just sits down on a bench, takes a bag full of breadcrumbs, and just covers himself in it. And then all these pigeons come down and just start eating. And he looks really happy. He looks a little too happy, honestly, like a little weirdly
should
happy.
Be a bird covering that bulge in his pants. Yeah, I like to imagine that he sounds like the Pillsbury Doughboy, like, hee.
Yeah,
just like hee.
Yeah, he is very happy.
Well, yeah, it is a bit disturbing, only for the fact that later on we see a close up of him and he's like crying happy. That's how ecstatic he is.
Yeah, later anyway. We get a little more, extreme close up of him, and he's so happy he's weeping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another strange thing would be, I mean, again, the sign of the times. Jessica using a phone booth. I mean, maybe I would hazard to guess there may be some listeners here that may not be familiar with a phone booth. They certainly were common back in the day, but mobile phones have squashed that, of course.
I know.
Isn't that Doctor Who thing that Superman uses?
Yeah, that's what people are. That's what people will say now. Not that's what you use when you're a drug dealer, which is what it should be known as.
So every time I first look at this page, these 3 panels of this hobo walking up and sitting down and pouring breadcrumbs on himself, it looks to me like first blush of like self-immolation, like he's like committing suicide very slowly.
Know, right?
It's like, no, he's enjoying it. Never mind.
No,
it's okay.
No, it's good. It's good.
So weird.
It is very strange.
So yeah, Jess has called her boyfriend David in San Francisco to check in, and we cut elsewhere in Los Angeles, and there's these early 80s versions of punks, so they all have like dyed hair and mohawks and goofy glasses, and they're all saying like, hey man, Sybarite wants us to get just soft plush stuff, no metal things. And so they're out like finding things to steal, like little mongooses or something like that, to take to the Sybarite character, and they all split up, so they're all like this freakish like Baker Street irregulars, but instead of helping Sherlock Holmes, they just steal shit. So and they also are they like Cockney accents, so like they run up behind this old lady walking her poodle and like, here's a ruddy Razza, and then they go running past her, and then she's like, oh, and she's standing there like in her gown, her fur is gone, her poodle with its diamond collar is gone, like really weird. But yeah, they all these punks talk like in Nadsat, like the language the Droogs use in Clockwork Orange. That
is exactly what is in my notes. Like I basically call them the Droogs for the rest of the issue because they do. Oh man, it's great. And yeah, so I had to look it up just to be sure, but the definition of Sybarite is a person who is self-indulgent in their fondness for sensuous luxury. So,
okay. Right. Yeah. I just thought that it really did no favors for punks in general. I mean, I know we have, the Clockwork Orange and all that, but it's like, oh man, like if you were a punk during that time and you're getting really bad press here in the comics. And I mean,
Matlock.
Of course,
Quincy. That was the worst. Yeah, the episode of Quincy called Next Stop Nowhere. That was all about punks, and there's a punk rock band, and Quincy has to go up on the stage and be like, "Your kids believe in nothing."
Oh,
so yeah, it was
yeah. I mean, they're so destructive. It's I mean, it's not only I had to have a little giggle at they attacked the taxidermy kind of place and steal, animal statues, and in the shop there it says taxidermy for all purposes. I mean, I don't know if that's necessary.
That was the weirdest thing. Yeah. So like you're saying,
for fucking whatever,
like you're saying, Ray, like, I don't know. So it's on the next page the Droog's like Vidya taxidermy glass eye shop, which is so weird. And like you said, Ray, it says for all purposes. It's the weirdest shop. And so, one of them, I just thought it was so weird. So they go for this, they smash out the windows, brought to you by Big Glass, even though there's nothing to do with a werewolf. I'm still drinking the Big Glass.
It all counts, Jacob.
It all counts. And so, one of them, as he's smashing the window out, he's like, "This is Ritz, man. That sweet Lucas Sybarite will dish out for this Vlossy loot." Yeah, this is Nadsat.
It's Nadsat.
It's so weird. Like it is. At first, I was the same way, Matt. At first, I'm just like, is this like Cockney rhyming slang? And I was like, no, these guys are their fucking Droogs. This is Alex LA. And his this is LA. So it's so weird. And so they go into this shop and just like steal a bunch of glass eyes and taxidermied animals for their boss's hideout.
I love how on the nose it is as they're like sacking this taxidermy shop and grabbing all these stuffed squirrels and shit. One's like, they're all talking about, Sybarite loves this shit. And one's like, as long as she keeps me and my vices happy, I'll follow her anywhere. Like, God, could it be more like transparent? It's like Greek chorus. I'll worship the Sybarite.
I mean, and they are kind of like, a destructive force as well. But I wanted to just a slight backtrack. I think Anna Senti, I can't remember. Well, I mean, as we go through it, we'll find out if she does it consistently. But she's not afraid to put in a little bit of like humor, comic humor. And I'm not saying humor from what they're saying, but more so, that lady, the elderly lady that gets kind of ransacked. It's almost cartoonish, where she's kind of left with, after a whirlwind of punk, she's left with just her dress on. There's a little bit of that in there, but it's hard to kind of lock into the tone because the punks are kind of so I don't know, slap happy as well, but they're obviously doing something really bad.
I thought that was also supposed to be kind of like Droogs. Like one guy's picking up a stuffed turtle, and he's like, "How do I love thee, turtle? Let me count the ways." Like, they're just like, like Blue Beetles madmen, like those Ditko like beatniks, like just running around messing stuff up and saying gibberish. Yeah,
they're just chaos agents.
Yeah. And then they all get into a limo. No one would notice that.
No, that's not conspicuous at all.
Isn't that against their whole beliefs?
I think that basically we're led to believe that she brings lots of heroin and weed and acid and whatever. So they'll do whatever.
Yeah, they're vices.
Yes, they're vices. So then we cut to the hotel where Lindsay and Jess are staying in LA. And Lindsay's just like completely crestfallen. She went to a cattle call, and there's this funny joke. Here's another Docenti joke where she's like, "Jess, have you ever been to a cattle call? It's when a director's looking for new faces and hundreds herd by him as he rejects each and every one of us and then hires his niece." Yeah. Like that, I actually laughed. I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. That's a good joke.
It is. Yeah.
And then it's 83, so she says, "It's humiliation to the max." And then there's this weird note. She says, "The only way to get acting work is if you've got the right flaw, a gross scar, or if you're obese enough, hired by fault." It's like, wow.
That was a little bit. Right. Yeah, it's like, okay.
And this third panel is so freaking cool. It's the two of them looking at each other. There's this explosion of light in the background, and they're cast in blues and purples, and they look like it's like a romance comic. It's so strange.
It is. It
weird. Reminds me of like Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, where there's like these weird like super intense, like their faces this close, like let's go get high, let's go play rock and roll music. And it's like, this is so surreal.
But there's always been that undertone though with Jess and Lindsay that a lot of people, a lot of Spider-Woman fans like to speculate, and so we do kind of get glimpses of their relationship because origin-wise, Lindsay is the only one that kind of isn't affected by Jessica's pheromones at the very beginning. We see even later here, I think there's a scene here where a guy, again, a hobo type, is in the alley, and he's kind of put off by Jessica, like she's a really creepy woman. But Lindsay seems to be immune to that, and there is some sort of attraction between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
Yeah, I speculated way back incorrectly, Ray, that Lindsay might be Gypsy Moth, but that was not true.
Yeah.
Because she popped up like almost immediately afterwards, where it's like a pretty big red herring. Jacob, I forgot to mention the drugs that Jess was taking to inhibit her pheromones started to wreak havoc on her powers, so she quit taking them. Recently.
Okay, I was wondering because that was she had gotten those drugs, and so her pheromones causing people to fear her was not a part of the book for a long time, right?
Yeah, she got to where she was taking a whole bottle for a dose, and so she quit.
Okay,
when her powers kind of crapped out on a mission. So So Lindsay says, "Hey, I got invited to this swanky party tonight. I met a bunch of freaks downtown, and they invited me to a cool party." And she's like, "Oh, I wish I could, but I'm gonna go see my friend Jack Russell. Woohoo!" I was excited.
Yes.
So they split up to go their separate ways, and Lindsay says it's some exotic gal named Sybarite who's hosting it, and good thing Jess asked, because otherwise she wouldn't know what the hell's going on later. Exactly. And she goes sprinting off. I don't quite understand her motivation here. She says, "The moon's almost full. Better go keep an eye on the natives. I know I'm not being paid for it, but even private detectives sometimes have to drum up their own business." So I guess she's just working. I thought she just went to LA to hang out with Lindsay because she missed LA, I took it. She was ambulance chasing, basically. Okay.
Like, kind of, in that. Well, not looking for ambulance, but like looking for trouble, because she knows that full moon will reap a lot of silly buggery.
So someone gets robbed, and she's just going to like hand them her business card. Like, is that just?
Actually, you're right. I mean, that is a bit weird. Yeah,
because at this point she has just passed her private detective license.
That's right.
So she has changed career paths. So yeah, this makes even less sense.
Yeah.
Like, she was a bounty hunter up until she and Scotty split up, and she decided when she moved to San Francisco, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to start fresh.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
So I kind of like this next page. I dig how Jess looks on this page. She changes into her costume, and we get some great Nascenti narration here, where she first says, I have problems with the word a little bit, but she says, Spider-Woman skitters up the sheer face of the building, her hands and feet sticking to the brick like 1,000 tiny suction cups. And says she poises, spreading her diaphanous glider webs to catch an errant breeze, then glides into the night. Los Angeles is a city that sprawls right out of human reach, a glittering landscape of drifting society where objects come before people. So yeah, Nascenti's really she's really deep in it right now. I mean, the
I love it, and I love that panel, that art of her almost in silhouette with the highlights of the moon. She looks like a monster. She looks awesome.
Yeah, she looks awesome. I love. So there's only 4 panels on this page, but there's 2 like kind of normal size panels on top, and then there's 2 like skinny horizontal panels. You don't see this layout very often. This is a very uncommon layout.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think that it would normally work, but I think just on the strength of the art in these panels, it really works. I love this page.
Yeah, I think the way that the eye is led through these panels is really good. Like if you follow how Jess goes up the wall, then you basically meet her at the top. But the only thing I would have thought would be if you maybe, this is a really small quibble, like mirror that bottom panel. I thought maybe that would have led the eye a little bit better, because you see Jess kind of in that horizontal monster shot, as you said, Matt, and she's kind of facing towards our left.
Yeah.
So it kind of, for me, it kind of looked a bit weird that then she kind of veers towards the right with her. But having said that, I do love the last panel, because it works so well with the narration as well, as you're saying, the purple prose, because it talks about the highways spiraling and looking like dollar signs. And I love this kind of it evoking this imagery in your head. But I think Postman does really well by, with a very short or restricted canvas on that last panel to actually show, just the highways, overlapping and underlapping each other.
I totally agree with you. However, I would have mirrored the silhouette shot.
Yes, actually, that works even better. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because then you have the left to right progression that Westerners are used to of progress, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love Postman's layouts.
Yeah.
So far.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just about to say, further to what you were saying, Jacob, about that establishing shot of Jess on here as well. She does look very different. I think it's really good. She looks really great. I love her, like her flowing hair is there. It's really kind of like the hero shot as she, unveils her costume to get ready to fight crime. But she has a lot more of a, I dare say, like a lot more musculature to her in the shot, which makes it so cool. So I really appreciate that from Postman.
I don't know. Is Postman? Did he read through the script and so he's making her hair super long and like Medusa-like because what's going to happen later? Like he can't unconsciously. It's like long and flowing and it has a life of its own.
It's not a bad point, Matt.
Yeah.
So yeah, the next page we get this long, beautiful panel that goes up the entire page of her gliding up, swooping up on this updraft. She zigzags above the street. She remembers how it felt to live here. The city sometimes seemed like a pressure cooker. And the right side of the page, there's a series of rectangular panels that go down, and there's some more of this crazy Nocenti prose that I love. It squeezes the juice out of people, leaving the rinds to choke the gutters of the endless streets. It's like Taxi Driver. The streets where bus stops are sacred, churches profane, where bars are wayside chapels, and the Messiah is a con man to those who live there. Below her are hope dealers who have come to offer salvation to the broken children of the streets. And she's swooping down through liquor stores and porn shops and all this stuff. And then we see her swooping again through some of these punk kids with the weird hair and mohawks and face paint. Like there will always be flocks to offer themselves up to the new balms of fad healers. Millions of kids cut loose from old lies, looking for new ones. And then she lands in this alley where this homeless man is crouched up, sitting up against the wall. It says she feels herself drawn to those who inhabit the seamy underside of the city for reasons she does not entirely understand. She feels drawn to the hopeless and helpless, the fearful and the decadent. Nocenti was on fire.
She was on fire. This was, for me, I got vibes of Doug Mensch in the sense of like just that pure descriptive nature of her, and just really good, like analogies and metaphors and all that. That was really good.
Like you said, Matt, it's like it's Taxi Driver combined with like Rorschach's journal. Yeah. Like it's so good. Yeah. And again, this is kind of Postman in this whole issue seems to take layouts, like non-traditional layouts that for the most part, like if you describe this to me, I'd just be like, I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
Like, but he does make it work. I mean, that was kind of the weird thing as I went through this issue. At first, I was just like, oh, that's a little weird. I like it kind of, but still, it's a weird layout. I don't know. But then by the end, I just kind of got used to his flow and his style. And I really like it. I like his art. I don't know why he didn't do more for Marvel.
Yeah. I'd have to say that this page, definitely, this one stuck out for me as well. Like similar to, say, the first page, just with layout wise, as you're saying, Jacob. It's just so, it's not usually, you don't usually see stuff like this, but as you say, you kind of lock onto it. And it works. It works with the narration as well. I mean, she has to go through all these different corners of the city, all in half a page. And Postman manages to do that. It's really weird. It's a very unorthodox, but it's at the same time a very methodical layout as well. Whereas you see stuff like when Sienkiewicz plays around with layouts, there's a lot of overlapping, there's a lot of angular layouts to create more of the movement. I think Postman creates movement here, but it's very much, it seems like it's on a grid. And I mean that in a good way, like, And
then he bends or breaks that at will to kind of play with it. Like in the previous page, the silhouette monster shot, her hands kind of breaking the panel, going into the gutter, and now she's fully crossing over into the right-hand side where it kind of ties all those together by her swooping and gliding through them all. He's really powerful.
Yeah, he is. So on the next page, like you were saying, Jess walks by this man who at first says, "Dime for the blind lady," And Jess is like, how do you know I'm a lady? She looks at them and she's like, you're not blind. And it says, milky eyes that appeared to be robbed of vision roll back into place, which is just the creepiest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like a Cenobite. I mean, this is like stuff of nightmares.
It's just so random again. Like, is this a trick that, homeless people pull on people? I don't know. I didn't know.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think so, but maybe in 1983, I don't know. But yeah, he's
like a denizen of hell.
He is. He's like some kind of fucked up demon, like in this
John Leguizamo character from Spawn, whatever that guy's fucking name was. Reminds me of that.
So yeah, he's like, she says, you're not blind. And he says, nope, hee, good trick, huh? Well, if not for charity, how about buying a loose joint? Oh, it just made me laugh. Like, I don't know. That's a weird slang that I'm like, do real people who smoke pot say that? I don't know if they do, but maybe. I mean, a loose joint as opposed to like a bundle or something. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess you do sell loose cigarettes. I for a weird period in my life had a shoe shine stand, and it was homemade, and I sold loose cigarettes. So there is something that happens. So I don't know. Maybe I guess you do that with joints too. But she says, it's not loose joints I'm after, something bigger. And then, this is that what you were talking about, Matt, where he's thinking, boy, she's creepy. Anybody that makes my skin crawl has got to want drugs.
I think he's got to re-look at his approach to being a dealer, like how he goes about it, because just by slinking down into a dark alley and rolling your eyes back, I don't think it's going to get you some customers. So
you're right. He needs a better business plan, because this one is not working. I don't know though. He suddenly found a customer that wants quantity, because he's like, you want quantity then.
I think that I don't want to write this guy off, because he has the self-discipline to not get high on his own supply. He's got joints in his pocket, and he's sitting there in his own shit and piss, and he's not smoking them. So I think this guy's got the moxie, the American dream. I think he could be driving a Phantom in a few years.
Okay, you're right. You're right. This is Reagan's America at this point. So yeah, anything can happen. And so yeah, he says that, you want quantity, and she just is like, yeah. And he says, everybody knows the big biz goes down at the docks. And then we get just a fucking horrifying panel of him, just like kind of the top of his face is in silhouette, and this gross, like half of the teeth in his mouth. And the narration says she leaves the booze-rotted stumps of the old man's teeth.
I think that clinched it for her. Once he kind of, dazzled those brown friggin' stumps, she said, okay, I'm out of here. Thanks for your info. I'm going.
And then it says she leaves to glide in over the river-ravaged stumps of the docks.
So I thought that was a cue to Postman, like, do a graphic match, show his gross little teeth, and then cut to pylons sticking up in the dock, like these rotting pylons at the docks. Yeah. But I don't think Postman got the note.
I don't think he got the note, but good. That would have been great. And I'm sure Nascenti meant that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So the next page is my favorite personal one out of the whole issue. Very Spider-Man-esque. We have Jess like running, charging towards the viewer, her hair wisping behind her in the foreground, and there's a grid of 6 panels in the background. So this whole page is a montage of her going down the docks and shaking people up to get information about drugs. So apparently she's fully on board with Nancy Reagan at this point. So like things like, come on, deadhead, this lady wants some drugs, and I can see you're full of them. What do you do, lady? Spank me? We're small change. We ain't got that much in our stash. So it's just a bunch of little things like this. People just saying, like, I don't know, and then I'm just a nobody. Go where we get it, from the boats. And so she heads towards the boats, and she thinks it's just business as usual for them.
She slowly works up her way. It's almost up the food chain with the small fry at the beginning. But I love this page is great. Again, we get a splash page really of Jess,
finally,
with some information at the back, and what you mentioned before, Matt, like she breaks over all the panels, which is really cool. It's really it's a lot of attention is paid to this shot of Jess, I think.
Yeah, and there's it was fun to see her just kind of cut loose and just like rough up some human dandruff. And there's some little things in here, like on the middle right, it says, "Why do you accept misery when you could get up and kick it in the gut?" And the guy's like down on his knees, like, "Life stinks, and then you die, lady." I'm like, oh wow,
he's not the most optimistic guy, is he?
No, it's like the beginning of a musical and number in Rent or something.
Yeah, this page cracked me up, and I totally agree with you guys. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pages. So on the next page, Jess swoops down and scares like the most 80s looking drug smuggler I've ever seen. Yes. Like I know Miami Vice isn't quite there yet, but this guy is right out of Miami Vice with his pink pants. And she comes down and says, well, follow the snail tracks right to the slug. And he knows her. He's like, oh shit, Spider Woman. And he thinks, oh no, this lady's got a nasty rep, which I love.
At this point, there should be stenciled on the side of that box, drugs.
It should.
Yeah, exactly.
We're at that level as far as this goes.
And he should have a top hat or something.
Yeah.
But no, I love that, the call out for she has a reputation now. Yeah. Like in and around, which is really cool that the seedy underbelly kind of know about her, because she's really, she has been refocused now to be more of a street level character. And he's, he's scared as, but, and we do see her use, does she use, I assume that she used a venom kind of blast on him, but she may have just tagged him, I think, so.
Yeah, he's running away. He's like, what are you, crazy? This ain't guns or bombs. It's just a little drugs. Yeah. Look, it's not for me. It's for some schmancy bash in Bel Air. And then, so this is one of my favorite panels of the entire issue. This is long horizontal panel, and it's colored all in like yellow, black, and reds. And it's her, she grabs him, by his collar and is like, where? Whose party? Quick. And he's like, some bird named Sybarite. And she's gone full Dirty Harry now, which I love. Like the last 2 pages, drugs have infuriated her so much that she's just kicking ass now.
Can I point out something interesting that I looked up?
Yes.
I was curious when this happened. So the Just Say No slogan was the creation of Robert Cox and David Cantor, advertising executives at the New York office of Needham, Harper, and Steers in the early 80s. In 1982, the phrase Just Say No first emerged when Nancy Reagan was visiting Longfellow Elementary in Oakland, California. When asked by a schoolgirl what to do if she was offered drugs by her peers, the First Lady responded, just say no. So that happened within a year in the past of this. And I feel like the war on drugs, which started in the early 70s with Nixon administration, was really ramping up when Reagan took office and became, that's when they basically invented crack and as a way to focus drug raids on a specific race of people and a certain dynamic. I don't know. I thought that was weird. I'm not saying that she's a shill for the Reagans or anything, but
no, but no. Yeah, that was such a part of America in the 80s that the Reagans did, the Just Say No campaign, which kind of morphed into the Dare campaign, and it was a huge thing. Even was a big part of a Punky Brewster episode. So there you go.
Yes,
the best one.
It wasn't the best one. The best one had spiders in it.
I think the best. Okay, the Halloween special was really good, but what about when Sherry got stuck in the refrigerator? Isn't that in your top 3? Because that scared the shit out of me.
That was Green Lantern's girlfriend.
Yeah, that's true. Oh no, was Sherry the original fridge?
That's bad.
Yeah. That's bad. Okay, so as she's roughing up this punk, some of the original punks that we saw, at the beginning of this issue find her, and she just barely misses a lead pipe to the back of her noggin.
Oh yes, she's her spider-like reflexes saved the day as well. She's got she has no spider sense, but she, her reflexes are good. I just want to point out at this stage, I might as well, as much as, we're enjoying the Spider-Woman title as well, so far there's only been like one mention of Jack Russell.
I know. We might as well say, I mean, we're like 10 pages into the story. There's not a lot of Jack Russell in this story. We go through his appearances chronologically. Mm-hmm. This is one of the slightest appearances that we're gonna talk about. He's really only in a few panels of this, but we are thorough. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to half-ass.
Matt does not half-ass chronology at all. So, but we've Ray, through going through Jack Russell's kind of ancillary appearances after his title, I think the stuff we've liked the best, aside from the two Moon Knight issues we just talked about, were the Spider-Woman issues. Like we really grew to love this title.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, absolutely as well. I mean, it is a fun title, and of course, you're speaking to the right guy just to kind of lord this series. Loving it as well. Love my Jack Russell too. But just tempering any new listeners out there who may be kind of like, okay, so where is Werewolf? When is he coming? He's coming,
right.
Buddy.
Good call. Yeah, thank you, Ray. He is coming. He is coming. Yes. I promise.
Yes. I did mention at the beginning you should go back and listen to the last two episodes, right?
You did. Yes. You did.
Because he's way a lot in those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So these this cloud of punks has descended upon her, and she's like, you don't want to mess with me, but if you insist. And on the next page we get a nice little just action sequence here of her just beating the piss out of these punks. She's triple, quadruple, quintuple teamed, and she's having no problem making short work of them. The art's great. There's some cool lettering, like on the bottom, where she's doing a judo flip on one guy, and it says whoosh, and it's colored with this gradient from yellow to light green to dark green. I love when they do that stuff. Great dynamics here.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, the art is good there as well, but I feel though maybe there could have been a bit more dynamics. I don't know. Maybe a few more shots of like the background to fill up the panels a bit more. To me, this page looked a little bit bare, and I know there's no dialogue, but there are a lot of special sound effects that make up for it. But yeah, it felt a little bit bare to me. But needless to say, it's still great action from Jess's point of view.
We've talked a lot about like when there's solid backgrounds and when that's a shortcut and when that's a artistic choice to emphasize something. And I feel like I hear what you're saying here, but to me, this feels like, it's the same way the human brain works, right? Like when something really specific happens, your mind focuses in on that thing and the details fuzz out and become unimportant because the crisis, whatever is happening right in front of you. I feel like this was an artistic choice, and I feel like it's not cutting corners, whereas a lot of times a lesser artist or Vince Colaiuta would just kind of be like, and it's all red.
Yeah. No, for sure.
It's a blue thing, and then it's just red.
Well, we get a lot of cool colors on the next page. So on this next page, there really is no dialogue or narration. It's all art. And in the those first three panels. So again, it's very strange. The first 2/3 of the page, the top is three long horizontal panels of Jess in silhouette in the background fighting these punks. Really great action. But then in the foreground, we see someone has a syringe and is filling that syringe up from this little vial. And then we see it's a redheaded woman, one of the punks, and she's sneaking up on Jess. And then at the bottom, there's four cool vertical panels. And it's Jess, still just kicking ass. But then this woman sneaks up behind her, sticks a syringe in her thigh, and Jess goes down.
Yeah. So you can never beat Jess, front on. It's always through subterfuge and deception. Yep. And so she gets ejected. I think this page works really well. And I'm thinking maybe, Matt, that it's because I'm reading it from the comic and you've got the 2 pages in front of you, like the previous page and this page. And because this page is predominantly like silent as well, I think maybe that for me has given this impression that that other page was not filled up enough. But I do like this page, as you mentioned, Jacob, with the top 3 panels. I think that works really well with having in the foreground the syringe and the drug, but then just having silhouettes, because I love me a good silhouette fight where it's kind of more recently. I think Nicola Pacheco Pera Pere run of Spider-Woman, there's a great sequence that Pera Pere, the artist, does. It's on a movie set, and Jess and Lindsay McCabe are fighting these ninjas, but it's all in silhouette, and it's really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got vibes of this as well, but I think it works really well by having that in the foreground about for the reader to know what is about to happen. But yeah, again, very not non-conventional layouts, but I think it works very well, especially with the last 4 panels at the bottom.
Yeah, and I feel like these 2 pages side by side even kind of support what I was saying, where it's like in the previous page we were right in the middle, in the thick of it, so all the sound is almost physical, the melee, the hits, all that stuff, and then when you pull back out to this ne'er-do-well who's filling a syringe, we're just seeing, we don't get any sound effects because we're so far away from the action that's not what the focus is. Yeah, great stuff. Then Jack appears on the next page, guys. It says, elsewhere in L.A., Jack Russell walks the streets. I don't know what the hell are you complaining about. He's walking along, and he's thinking, same old story. Ask for a few days off, and I can scratch another job. I can't tell them why I need the time off, so no wonder they fire me. What did I do to deserve this lousy fate? Questions. Why does a rich kid who's basically a superhero 27 days out of the month need a job? And why does he have to ask for time off for those 3 days where he has to lock himself up? He's rich. He's stinking rich.
This has literally never come up before. And Jack Russell has never had a day job ever.
Also, Minch shared with us that Jack has been running from a satanic cult for a year across continents.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have a job right now, Anne. He's never had a job.
Never.
He's not Banner on the Run on a TV show. He's just a rich kid. Anyway, so and then he looks up. Something grabs Jack's head, yanks it around. Oh no, not already! I've got to get home. He stands transfixed, facing another face, not just any other face, and we get this tight close up, zooming into his horrified eye, but the moons. So Jack was surprised that a full moon came, Jacob, just out of nowhere.
Oh, that's drinking. We drink to that. So yeah, if this is any of our anyone who's jumping on in this episode, if you haven't gone back and listened to the Moon Knight ones, we do have a fairly extensive drinking game that we have come up with over the years doing this.
Yes.
And yeah, one of the big ones is one of the tropes of Jack Russell's character throughout his early Marvel comics appearances is that he is a werewolf. He knows he is, but he always gets taken by surprise that the moon is full. He doesn't own a calendar, even though he's very rich.
Digital watch that beeps.
Doesn't have anything. So he gets caught unawares a lot, and we think that's ridiculous. So we drink to that. Mm-hmm. And there are many other rules that I'm sure will come up in other episodes.
Can I ask, Jack Russell, is he the sharpest tool in the shed as well? Maybe he's just not that smart.
I'm not going to go so far as to say he's a cipher who has no personality. He seems to be just like perpetually 18 or 19, where he's just kind of
he's a dumb kid.
He's just a dumb kid. He doesn't have a whole ton of stuff going on.
No.
Fair enough.
We love him all the same, but he's just a dumb kid. He's probably 21 at this point, but he's still he's mentally 16. So
I love the relationship.
We get this this graphic thing going on, which is like I think Anne probably in her script kind of calling for some type of Hitchcockian camera work where the camera pushes in super tight on this eyeball, and then there's a graphic match where we cut to Jess waking up as these 4 punks are leaning over her, looking at her, and Jack's iris and pupil are supposed to be like the moon.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work because it's comics. Like in film, it would work. Like a dissolve between two things would work, but when it's it can work in comics. It just doesn't work here, in my opinion.
I think you're right, but we do know what they're trying to do, so it kind of works. Doesn't work perfectly, but we know that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think it's exactly. We know what they're kind of doing, so we fill in kind of the gaps and the movements in our mind's eye. I just love the transition because it's back to Jess, and of course she'd been drugged, like knocked unconscious, or what have you. So she is kind of opening her eyes, and just a whole play on Jack's eye being in the background. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I think it's cool. I think it's a cool reach. I'm always for people reaching. I just don't think this.
Yeah, reach.
Particularly when I realize where she is. She is not outside. She is inside. So that is not the moon. So it makes the graphic match work even less, unless it's a lighting fixture, because she wakes up and she's standing up and she's in a new place. She's been transported while she was knocked out. Oh, where? And then she looks up and says, "You."
Yeah, so on the next page, we get, this is the big reveal. This is the big reveal for this issue, that Gypsy Moth is Sybarite, which Jess says, "Gypsy Moth, you're Sybarite." And then she says, "There are countless names for one such as me." I'm like, all right, I mean, maybe, or two, either way. And the narration says, "Here sits the queen surrounded by all her pleasure junkies." And who are her parasitic followers? When still children, they visited the graves of their own morals.
Oh, wow.
Now their cumulative values and ideals go about as deep as a Roosevelt dime. So she's Raymond Chandler now, for some reason.
I feel like I need a beret. Like, wow, man. Wow.
Can I ask what's a Roosevelt dime? Is that anything in particular?
Teddy Roosevelt, a dime is a 10-cent coin, so it's really thin.
Yeah, okay. It's his,
it has almost no depth. It's like the thinnest. It's even thinner than a penny.
Okay. Yeah, no, I love this decadence. Like you've got everything thrown in here, from chandeliers to exotic birds, just haphazardly swanning around in this plush room. Yeah.
And can I say, I know it's meant to be like a villainous touch or something, but I thought it was really cool. Maybe it's because it's a female writer, like having Gypsy Moth with a female follower in her lap, like a pet. It's not a sexual thing necessarily. Maybe it is, doesn't matter. But just that cool kind of open I know it's meant to be hedonistic, but I mean just the fact that they're willing to portray it in any sense, even negative, seems like a big step for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Them. I mean,
no, I love it. And then at the bottom, those bottom panels, Jess says, "I remember you. I tried to be your friend once."
If anything, for me, if we're talking about a little bit of clunky dialogue, I thought that was
that was.
It sounded so cheesy.
That was a typewriter down the stairwell of the dialogue, definitely.
Yeah, then we get a little editor's note that says, "Way back in Spider-Woman number 10. Then Gypsy Moth says, "You are mistaken. I have never known friends."
Gosh, where's the small violin happening? Come on.
Yeah.
I love that we get to see in this big, huge panel at the top of this page, just all the stuff that her flunkies have been stealing for her. So like you were saying, there's exotic birds.
Columns? They stole columns?
Yeah, Doric columns and chandeliers. And I mean, it's just, everything is just finery to just like a Turkish king, right? I mean, it's just crazy. It's beautiful.
And I've got to say also as well, I did notice, and this must be a Postman portrayal, but Jess's wings are massive, like her gossamer wings, because they're always there. I mean, that's part and parcel of her costume as well. But you tend to not notice them because basically they only come out when she really flies or glides. Even back in that previous page when she's kind of getting up off the floor, like they're massive. They're like kites.
Yeah, they are full gliders, aren't they? I was noticing that too. Almost. Other artists would cut them down to the previous segment, kind of they're segmented. Yeah, they'd almost be bigger versions of Spider-Man's web pits.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But he's fully flying squirrel here. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the next page, so Gypsy Moth says she doesn't have any friends. On the next page, she says, "Just my flock." And Jess calls back to the beginning and remembers that man sitting there with the flock of pigeons on him as this big grin, beatific grin. And Gypsy Moth says, and my flock loves me. And then she sees even closer to that the bum is crying happy tears as these pigeons are eating breadcrumbs off of his fat, hairy stomach. And
this is a payoff. This is a payoff.
Yeah,
It was a payoff. So she's realizing, oh, this relationship is as empty as that one is, right?
Yeah.
And so Spider-Woman hears a familiar giggle behind her and spins, and it's her friend Lindsay. Hiya, Jess. Want a party? She's like, Lindsay, what did they do to you? She's like, nothing, Jess. This is her friends. And then this punk's got this like weird, like long ponytail and a shaved head or something. And he's like, she just adored the little old fruit punch. And Jess just clenches her fist with these like anger explosions, like manga coming out of her. And she's like, you. She looks at Gypsy Moth. So she's done. She's already pissed off with this whole deal. And now Lindsay's involved, her best friend, who she has weird feelings about and dreams about sometimes.
Yeah, I love how angry she gets. Like Postman did such a great job on that panel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just also a reminder as well for Spider-Woman, I guess, may not really pay much now, but one of Spider-Woman's power sets is that she has invulnerability, I guess, to toxins, but the first time she has it, of course, she still falls under the spell. So anyone questioning, how she got drugged, perhaps it was a drug that she hadn't been accustomed to before, and that knocked her out. But that's how her kind of power works. So, so she wakes up and she attacks Gypsy Moth. I'd like that payoff with the hobo and the pigeons. I thought that worked really well because it just made a lot more sense. After I got to this page, like, okay, that's what you're doing, Nascenti, okay, because you were really off your rocker there at the first page. So.
Yeah, it wasn't nitrous oxide hits. It was actually planned pod element.
No, Nascenti's going highbrow, and I love it. And I actually think it works for the most part in this issue. Like her leaps, her prose, I'm here for it.
Because essentially, Gypsy Moth is really like a tragic, lonely, sad case.
Oh, damn.
Which, perfectly paralleled with what we saw at the beginning. So
on the next page, Jess just lunges towards Gypsy Moth, being like, "You drugged my friend." Gypsy Moth's like, "Impulsive woman, have you forgotten my power? I control fibers like clothing and hair." That's for us because we had forgotten her power.
I had forgotten. It had been
exactly.
So I was like, "Thank you, Jim Shooter. I'm actually really glad that you made that happen." Yes. And so then she says, "Now let us see if you love the velvet as I do. I'll hurt you softly, but with a look." And I kind of loved that line. Like, I don't know. I was just like, it's a crazy line, but I love it. And so now we are to where we originally saw on the cover. So this is what's happening in the cover. Gypsy Moth is using her powers to wrap Jess up in this velvet and stuff coming from a rug. And she says, "It does you fine, no?" Then Jess we see her grab onto the velvet and just rip it off and be like, "No!" And then there's a great, great sound effect of just like a rip.
Yeah, no, this is good. It's a good showcase of Gypsy Moth's. Obviously, it's a little reminder, as you said, what she can do. Strangely enough, fibers and hair, like clothes and hair. Yeah. I'd like to really get into the details of what her powers. No. Okay.
It's anything fibrous. It's not what the material is. It's just its fibrous nature. She can
do. Let's not dig too deep because it'll all fall apart.
She's a member of the night shift, right?
She was, yeah. She becomes a member of, will be.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
I really like at the top here, I love that Postman does some kind of expressive things, like her wings are splayed back almost like a peacock as Jess is lunging at her. Like, he does these just cool little touches like that kind of like suggestive things.
Yeah,
that's cool.
No, it's great. And just even the top panel as well of basically Jess jumping out of like negative space or like no space. That was, I think that's really a really nice touch.
Postman uses white backgrounds here to great effect in this whole issue.
Yeah.
Like in that last panel with the ripping. Yeah. So she's basically Fiber Magneto. Is all you need to know.
That's good shorthand.
Yes. So she says, Jess says, you've got some charming powers, but your idle life has made you soft. So she's just been sitting around this finery with her flunkies doing things for her, and apparently that's made her soft. So she does a venom blast and zaps her, and she collapses, and she says, that hurt. And it says, Gypsy Moth's mind homes in on Spider-Woman's hair that becomes the enemy, dragging her down into the water. So she whips her up like a Sith Lord by her hair, invisibly, and throws her into this fountain in the middle of this lavish mansion, and she's drowning her. So she's pulling the hair down to the bottom of this fountain, and Jess is frantically, struggling to get free of this invisible control. It's a little disturbing.
But it's very clever as well in the fact that Gypsy Moth first tried, textiles and then the fabric with the rug to get her. That didn't work, so she's gone for something literally that is part of Jess, her hair. That because she could have easily gone for her costume or whatever, but the same result would have occurred like last time. Pretty cool again. And Lisanti, that playful slippery stuff, too flimsy to hold a shape, becomes a killer too. She's still kind of shooting from both barrels there. Yep.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I was getting more and more into it as I was reading this issue. So on the next page, as she watches Jess drown, we kind of get this flashback origin story. She's thinking, Gypsy Moth is thinking, the Spider-Woman, she was kind to me when we first met, but a friend. No, I've always been solitary, even as a child. Then, we get this. I don't know. I really liked the second part of this page. It's so cool. And Postman's done this a few times in this issue to where there's, well, in this one, it's like a full giant panel with like 4 insets, actually. But he does this thing to where, a subject is in a skinny panel on the left side of the page, and then a story is told with the panels on the right. And so, we see, Gypsy Moth as a child says that she was born Sybil. Did you pronounce that Dvorak? Dvorak, yeah. Raised by Balkan gypsies, she was left with much time alone. As a child, she discovered she could reach out and touch things with her mind. She loved the way that fiber, soft weaves, and flowers felt to her mental touch. Hard objects were abrasive, giving her psychic shudders.
So I think that's actually quite important, and that was just reminded me as well. So she could potentially really just be a telekinetic person, but she just prefers to go for the fibers because
I was just thinking that. Like, didn't even occur to me the first 2 reads of this. Like, she's essentially like Jean Grey, but she's super sensitive, so she just likes the way these things feel. So she has just, been drawn to them. Yeah. So she's as strong as Magneto or any kind of mutant. I think she's a mutant, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't she get involved with the mutants later? Like when it's revealed she's actually a mutant. She has several names.
Yeah,
her name's like Skeen or Skeen. How do you say that? Yeah.
Skein or something like that. I know my co-host Saren was telling me about the more current Gypsy Moth, who is Skeen. I don't know too much about it, but most definitely would have had some run-ins with the X-Men. I like it. I like the fact that this explained it a little bit more, and it explains it to an extent her decadence, for the finer things. Because she likes the finer things. She likes the soft weaves and the hair and the flowers. So,
She likes the nightlife. She likes to boogie.
Yeah. I love these bottom 2 panels, though, because then it takes a turn. It says, then in Romania, she wandered onto the set of the remake of the movie Dracula. The star, a man much like the role he played, was smitten with her exotic beauty. He seduced
her. So is that Jack Palance or is that Frank Langella? Because they both played Dracula in the late 70s.
This looks like a weird, like Jack Palance playing Clark Gable in a weird way.
Clark Gable, yeah.
But it says on the final panel, says he seduced her with fame and the bogus immortality of film. So such a funny origin story. I mean, really cool. Like the first 2 panels are super cool and thought-provoking. Second 2 panels just goofy as shit.
Just whip it weird.
I think it kind of veers off. Sorry, Matt.
I was just going to say to talk about what Ray and I were talking about, like this last panel here. he seduced her with fame and the bogus immortality of film, that white background just shows like he used negative space so well to show the hollowness of Hollywood fame.
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. And I was just about to say as well, the slight different, the beveled edges to these layouts for the flashbacks, just a little point of difference from Postman. So
yeah,
I think that works well.
Yeah, Jacob, I as well love this. These bookends essentially of Gypsy Moth on either side of her origin story, of her profile, are gorgeous.
Yeah.
So her story continues on the next page, the second half of her origin. So when they finish the film, he flies her to LA and he coops her up in this beautiful mansion. And for all her beauty, she was but an exotic toy for the actor. So he kind of plays with her, then just leaves her. He goes off to shoot films, do stuff, and she's essentially a prisoner in the house. He's away on trips to shoot stuff, and there's this panel of her just kind of, it's all blues and grays, and she's sitting all alone in this house, just kind of going mad with loneliness because she has been brought here. She's an illegal alien, so she can't go out, she can't get a job, she can't do anything, and she's kind of a kept woman, and she's left alone 100% of the time. So the betrayal of her love was the original act that set her spirit moving on the wrong path. This is what breaks her. And then she used her powers to weave herself a disguise. So when she snaps, she makes us a costume, and she's fully on the track to becoming a villainess. And that's when we get the flashback. That's when she met Jess back in issue 10, was when her first outing as this broken woman with a new psyche, essentially, who was going out to wreak havoc. And that is the focus of her rage, is the Hollywood society, this hollow Hollywood society that took her husband away from her. That's who she acts out upon. So she wants to rob from the rich and the Hollywood phonies to hurt them because they hurt her by taking her love away. And she wants to hurt him as well. But, she says, why couldn't he just have loved me? Why did he have to force me to? And then she gets snapped out of this reverie because Jess is thrashing in the fountain, trying not to suffocate. But yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful flashback here. I really liked it. And it creates this layer where it's like, she was a gimmicky character thrown off by Grunwald or whoever that was, or 10, maybe Wolfman.
It was Wolfman, right?
And just kind of made to be like, I mean, it's almost like, have you ever read that 19th century British story, The Yellow Wallpaper, about that woman who is put into a sick bed by her husband, and it's written by a woman. It's this early feminist work, but she essentially like gets obsessed with this wallpaper in this sick room where her husband makes her stay in bed all the time because she's a weak woman, and she starts to see like eyes and things like peering out from it and people moving behind it, and she slowly goes mad. Like, it reminds me of The Yellow Wallpaper, which I forgot the name, but Gilman is the last name of the writer. It's a great story. Cool. They made a couple film versions of it. It's amazing.
Even as well. Wow.
But yeah, check out The Yellow Wallpaper. But this almost seemed to me like it was giving her that same kind of like rich backstory of like, wow, she's not just a person who can do a thing and decides to fuck shit up. She's a scorned lover and a lonely person who snapped. I mean, it's sad.
Yeah.
And how cool for Nascenti to give this like nuanced, deep backstory to a really gimmicky character.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think also as well, because when I first kind of read through this origin, how there's always kind of like love behind it, or some massive trauma behind something that triggers this. And this, for Intense seemed a little less so compared to some other backstories that we've seen. But like looking back at it again, and as you mentioned, Matt, she is isolated and she's literally imprisoned, and to a greater scale, more so than say that the Yellow Wallpaper, where you're saying that lady was in a room. This is essentially she's stuck in the mansion and she's an illegal. But also I think added to the fact that she is more sensitive, say, than others. You could argue the fact. So her sensitivity is great. It alludes to that with the fact that she prefers the softer textiles as metals make her shudder. So
yeah, you can infer that's every aspect of her personality is that
exactly. Yeah. So it is a really cool and very different kind of origin story for a character.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, I like Nascenti's take on it.
So these profile bookends that started on the last page at the beginning, she seems sad as she's casting back to remembering her youth and the way she became the way she is. And then on the at the end, she's angry. She's crying angry, bitter tears. And then she's yanked out of that reverie. So she's worked herself up to feeling bad for herself and then becoming angry all over again anew. So she snapped back, and Jess is running out of air, and she says she only has one choice. She grabs the roots of her hair with one hand and grabs the bottom with the other end and tears her hair off, and then jumps out of the fountain screaming, "You killer! Ow!" And she has a cheeky new 80s short girl haircut.
Nice way to introduce a new short crop. Yeah,
I know, right? I mean, and it's her long hair has been her signature this entire run. So
part of the Dark Angel kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So on the next page, she's lunging for Gypsy Moth. The moth uses her powers on the fabric of Jess's costume to pin her against a wall. Yeah. And she says, "I can slap you to the wall and hold you there by the weave of your costume." And Jess says, "Wonderful powers. Couldn't you have done something better with your gifts?" And Gypsy Moth is super pissed off. It's like, "Don't appeal to my conscience, Spider-Woman. It doesn't even exist." And then we see Jess she's going to get a new outfit now, because she basically is just as pissed as Moth is, and she tears out of her costume and says, "Well, then perhaps neither should you." And then we get another giant rip with Gypsy Moth saying, "What?" So this is a lot of action, and Jess is going to have a new do and costume.
So Nocenti has basically created a cocoon for Jess by this interaction between these two characters, where, I mean, she literally pulls out of her old skin and comes out in a new thing, right? I mean, I don't think that they knew they were going to be canceled at this point. I think Nocenti was like, she needs a reboot. Like, let's do something entirely new with her. So she probably had plans to do something really cool. Unfortunately, she didn't get to do it.
No. And I'd like to think, just because, it's interesting for me how, like, the development of what Gypsy Moth does to Spider-Woman over the last few pages. Because for me, like, the end game would be to attack Spider-Woman directly, i.e. to go for her hair, which she does. I think maybe my headcanon says that she got slightly shocked and surprised that Jess got out of that pool, and reflex action was just to go for her weave, her costume. But we see that Jess has little trouble with it with this instance. But it's a really cool effect, as you say, Matt, of her kind of ripping it out, and you see almost the ghost or the husk of her costume still stuck to the wall as she kind of rips off.
So cool.
Yeah, and Jess being super fast and super strong is the only thing that makes this work, because Gypsy Moth could turn around and just take the husk and wrap her up in it, but she knocks her on her ass before she has time to do that on the next page, with a big, huge crack. And Jess is watching her down the floor, and she says, "Can Gypsy Moth really believe that this gutless riffraff cult she's got cares about anything but her money? She's insulated herself in those living cocoon of false worshippers and has become like a flower that blooms only in the shade." So she's kind of mixing metaphors a little bit, but that's okay. So Gypsy Moth's semi-conscious mind starts to stir and drift. So in the foreground of that panel, we have her lackeys just kind of lounging around, stoned, whatever, hugging each other, making out, like rolling around the floor. And Gypsy Moth is kind of pissed. She's like, she's right. She's pissed off that she's right. They don't care a lick about her. And so she uses her mind and unravels the entire room. And so she starts using her powers to make everything that has strands or fibers in it go in a giant, tornado in the room. So her eyes like kind of closing and clenching as these things are just flying around the people, the birds, the fabric, the rugs. It says, "Gypsy Moth's thoughts whirl, creating a kaleidoscope of feather, cloth, and hair. Spider-Woman does the only merciful thing and knocks her out." I had to finish that sentence because, wow. Goes to the next page.
It's really cool. I think this highlights, you can't underestimate Gypsy Moth. She may seem like small bit, but her powers are immense.
Oh, yeah.
She creates this maelstrom in this room, and she's lifting people. I mean, she's lifting people and rugs and everything. She could cause a lot of destruction. I think the potential for her is really there. And I love the way that, just how on a fine kind of thread it hangs, because Jess knows exactly what to do. Just, if in doubt, knock them out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're totally right. You're dead on. Yeah. I mean, she is incredibly powerful. She's kind of like the same way that 25 years ago, somebody realized, a writer for Spider-Man realized, Elektra is like one of the most powerful people in the Marvel universe, right? Like, we need to somehow like deal with that, because you need to at least write him as being too dumb to realize that he's basically Magneto.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you said, Matt, she gets knocked out, says, and knocks her out, ending the maelstrom. And we see all these punks and cloth and fabric fall to the floor. And then Jess says, "Take care of your queen, punks." And she's like, "Now where's Lindsay?" And then she goes and picks up Lindsay, saying, "Thank God she's still breathing. I better find a doctor fast." And then she's like, What's going on over there? Where's the moth?" And then the punks are like, I don't know. It's just too glazzy. Again, that's that.
That's that.
Yep. And then Jess is like, "You idiots didn't see anything?" She thinks, "Turn my back for a minute," and she gets away. Or did she?
Oh, man. Just let me get my head together for a second.
Yeah. What did you make of that thing? Because that did you kind of leave in a bit of doubt. But I love the tropiness of, damn, like they escaped somehow.
Got away. Yeah. Yeah, this page is a little goofy, but I did like her hero turn as she says, "Take care of your queen, punks." And she's got like her hands on her hips, her costume's all torn. She's got her kick-ass new short haircut. Like that's her spotlight moment right there, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Wendy
and caring. And caring for Lindsay, of course, as well. First priority. So she even, turns her back on Gypsy Moth as long as her friend Lindsay's okay. So I like that relationship that they have.
So we cut back to, is this supposed to be Colden House?
It sure looks like Colden House, right?
No, but Colden House looked like some post-apocalyptic Cineplex. And now
this looks like all gothic.
Yeah.
And, I know. No, you're right. House. You're right.
Jess is flying towards what's, I guess, is Colden House, and she's thinking about how they had to pump all these crazy drugs out of Lindsay's system, stuff she never even heard of before, and she'll be fine. She's just going to have a wicked hangover the next day. She says, "Since they chased me out of the hospital, I might as well visit Jack Russell. I wanted to see Jack sooner, before the moon was full, but I hope I'm not too late," which I guess she forgot how this works, because she climbs through the window. She's like, "Jack," into this dark room. Spider-Woman is not the only one who is looking for Jack Russell. Jack, and she's wearing her, new sexy outfit. And it says, "The moon wants him too. That greedy goddess demands worship." She pulls a prayer out of Jack, the wailing, anguished prayer that he has howled under 1,000 moons. And she follows the sound of "Ow," and she goes into a small caged-in room. It says, Jack sits in a small, mean cell that offers no apologies. Spider-Woman, and he's chained up. He's chained to the ceiling and rooted in the floor. So he has 3 points of like chains around it, shackles around his manacles. She says, "Hi, Jack," through the bars. He says, "Isn't it bad enough that I have to look myself up like this? I don't need an audience too. Please leave. I'm about to..." And then it begins, the painful metamorphosis that changes Jack to a werewolf. He says, "Get out of here!" And it gets big, and big red letters, like balloon letters. And she says, "No, I'll see you through this one, my friend," as she holds onto the bars. And it just says end.
Yeah, it kind of surprised me at the end there, because it was almost like, oh, okay, so something's going to happen. There's going to be some sort of confrontation. It's going to break out. But there's something really reassuring of her just kind of reassuring him. And having the end there, like that as an end was it was a strange end, but it kind of left you almost kind of, I don't know, I felt you had like a warm feeling.
It did.
Like, okay, so Jess she's taking care of her friends. Like, she ran after, she took care of Lindsay. She's going to make sure she doesn't, she's going to make sure she's not going to not be there. So many negatives for Jack. So, yeah.
I thought it was a really sweet ending because, through all of Jack's appearances in his own title, I mean, when he changes, people run away because they're even his best friend, Buck, who was nearly killed by Jack. So I think it was very sweet that she's just like, nope, I'm going to stay. I'm going to see this one through with your friend. And yeah, it's a very sweet ending.
Iron bars help.
Iron bars help. He is still, but she can handle herself if he does get out, which guess what? He always gets out.
He does, I know.
So this title got canceled before there were any letters about this, so I can't read any letters about this appearance, but I can read the next issue teaser. It says, "What's black and orange and furry all over? Give up? Okay, we'll give you another clue. She's an ex-Avenger who chases mice for fun. Now do you know who the guest star is next time? Good. Be on hand for Spider-Woman's return to San Francisco, a great cat fight, more on the wondrous werewolf, and the introduction of the weirdest teen in comics. All this for 6 thin dimes in Spider-Woman number 49.
Okay.
You know who wrote a letter in to this book, though? Howard Mackey.
Oh, Howard Mackey. Oh,
Interesting.
Wow.
And all I said was, how the heck did Daddy Longlegs get out of that vacant lot, let alone the length of the chain link fencing, without Spider-Woman hearing him?
I wondered that too, not going to lie.
It's all about the details, I tell you.
I don't care. I like Daddy Longlegs so much that I don't care. What I loved about that was that they were going to the ballet or something to follow up a lead about him, and they stood in this line, and then once the line dies away, it's revealed that he was one of the trees. He'd been standing there for hours, just being a tree. How creepy!
He needs to be brought back in modern comics. Come on,
I totally agree. I hope they did something with him. So let's do some final thoughts. Ray, I would love your final thoughts on this issue.
I enjoyed most of volume 1 of Spider-Woman. As mentioned before, I found like Chris Claremont's a little bit underwhelming, but Nesenti's is great because she really, you can tell she's she's eager about it as well, and this new role that she has, and she gets to play with Spider-Woman. The villains, Gypsy Moth, we get a bit more fleshing out from her, and credit to Anna Nesenti for, I'm assuming, fleshing out this character that she was kind of given, this was a strange, eclectic, I think, tale. I think you framed it well, Jacob, at the beginning. There's a bit of noir. There's just poetic kind of verses in it. There's origin stories, and there's all that like drug action, just so you know. So it has a bit of everything. But I overall, I really enjoyed it.
I'll go. I enjoyed it as well. I definitely appreciated it on a second read through way more than the first. It felt just kind of like a haphazard mishmash of like Minchisms and this, that, and the other. And then once I read through it a second time, I was like, okay, I see what she's doing. She's actually reaching pretty far here, and a lot of it lands. So I love that Gypsy Moth came back and actually had that background that was rich and nuanced and kind of heartbreaking and tragic. And I like that Nesenti was, kind of updating something, like this could have been the next Dazzler or something like that. She was giving her a spunky haircut and a sexy kind of new, control your own sexuality kind of outfit and whatever. Too bad that didn't happen. I'd love to see what Nesenti did with another year, another 12 issues. But and Postman's art, big fan of. I'll have to go through those Creeps issues and find some stuff he did in recent times, because I was really into some of his layouts here. Nothing too flashy, but just some really deft things, like that use of negative space, like we were saying, to accent plot points and stuff. Very cool.
I agree, Matt. I mean, I agree with both you guys. Even though I don't know, this might be the least amount of Jack content we've seen in an issue this season. I mean, what do we get? Like a page and a half, maybe. Wow. But even with that short little Jack Russell appearance, it's still a pretty good issue. Like, Ann Nesenti, she shows all the hallmarks of a style that she's going to become known for later on, like the street lingo, the darker themes. It can be a little clunky, but it's not as clunky as I thought it would be for like her third issue that she's written in comics. Like you said, Matt, she's really reaching, and I love it. I really dig this. And kind of like you said as well. The first read through, I was just like, well, this is pretty good. But then after talking about it with you guys, I see a lot of really cool stuff in here, a lot of really deep things and big things that she's trying to reach for. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And Postman's art is great. Yeah. Like, it's really great. Seriously, if you go on GCD, the guy has like less than 15 credits for Marvel. And then just went into animation, where he was probably actually paid a living wage. Yeah. And then, but God, he's great. He really should have been a bigger star. This is the first of his art I've ever seen.
You can tell Nascenti was an incredibly talented writer coming out of the gate.
Oh God, yeah, both of them. No, this is really cool stuff.
Most of the stuff landed, and the stuff where she was overreaching was like, can't blame me for trying, kid. I would have swung at that too,
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So I'm just hoping that. I can't remember why she came back to LA. I kind of skimmed through the previous few issues, and I couldn't tell what the prompt. I know Lindsay came back for film work, but I don't know if she came back to see Jack. Has she talked to him before? I don't think so, but I'm hoping he doesn't have an incel moment where he's like, "Why were you just coming back here? You have a boyfriend. What the fuck is that about?" Because that's kind of weird. They definitely had chemistry.
Yeah,
they did.
And now she's coming back. She hasn't mentioned like, oh, and my boyfriend David has the same hair issues. Yeah. And my boyfriend David does that all the time.
Yeah. There's actually a little thing I want to ask you guys that Saren brought up in our latest episode. And you guys have reacted and seen, obviously, the Werewolf by Night trailer. That someone posted up and speculated to whether or not Jessica Drew might have been featured as one of the guests there. I did not. I didn't have it on my radar. Was there anyone in that party in the trailer that was unaccounted for that we don't know? And
they weren't mistaking Elsa.
I think Elsa Bloodstone looks like Jessica.
Elsa Bloodstone really looks like Jessica Drew. So I don't know if they're talking about that, but if not, I didn't notice. I didn't notice someone else.
Yeah, because Elsa is the only one I could think of, but that's blatantly not her. So yeah. Okay. Anyway, I just thought maybe if you'd pick up something else.
Yeah, and those are the two names that I know from the IMDb credits. Jack Russell and Elsa Bloodstone were the two I recognized. Somebody pointed out that Ulysses thing with the corpse, animated corpse. Yeah. So all the other names are not, unless it's a secret,
Oh, yeah. No. I guess just off that point of how they are, they do get on really well together in the comics. It's always good when you see Jessica and Jack, and I love that history that they have, and I hope they kind of play with it more, like in more modern series.
Yeah, I really love that. After the first time they met, I was reading through the rest of the issues which was Grunwald's run, which is amazing. But she was thinking to herself, like a couple issues later, like, I really like that Jack Russell guy. Like, I hope I run into him again. Like, oh, wow. Like, Mark was, he
was building to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's about it for us. We have the bonus show coming up. And if you folks want to check that out, you can go to patreon.com/werewolf by night podcast and join us at the levels that get the audio or the video versions of the bonus show. We are currently going through the 1981 classic werewolf films. There was a small renaissance of werewolf films with practical effects in 1981. We've talked about, where did we start? The Howling. And then we did Wolfen last week. This week we're talking about An American Werewolf in London. You might have heard of it. So yeah, we've been having a great time doing that. And we're doing The Scourge, as I mentioned. And I was just going to talk about some comics I've been reading. What are you going to talk about, Jacob?
I'm not sure. I'm really excited to talk about An American Werewolf in London. I had watched it for the first time in a long time earlier in the pandemic, and just watched it again. So yeah, I'm just anxious to talk about that with you.
Right on. Hey Ray, where can people find your stuff? Do you have like a hub or a social hub or any socials you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I think the best way people can find out about all the other shows kind of that I do as well, just on Twitter. I'm pretty active on Twitter, so at RayRayPod, REYREY Pod. You can find me there. I'm also on Facebook again, RayRayPod. But Twitter, yeah, I just love talking about anything geeky and this sort of stuff. I just loved going through this comic with you guys. It's so fun to really kind of geek out and talk about the inner details of a comic. It's fantastic. So I'm up for all of that sort of chat. So yeah, RayRayPod on Twitter.
Cool. And that will be in the show notes as well. Ray, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this Jess Drew story. Had a great time.
Oh, I absolutely enjoyed it, guys. Thank you so much for inviting me on. And I'm hoping, I'm going to be listening to hear all the future episodes of Jack's incidental or substantial cameos coming up ahead.
Right on. And for folks, those of you just joining us, we're also rebranding after this season, and we're going to be change our name to Bronze Age Monsters. So we're just going to be covering anything Bronze Age, mostly Marvel, but not limited to that. Bronze Age Crazies comics. We just want to stick with the crazy. So we do have a Twitter handle for that and a Instagram account. So you can find us there by searching for Bronze Age Monsters and follow that for when we make the switch in January. We like to honor some of our guests, the folks on Patreon who support us at the $5 and $10 level. We call them the pack members, the $5 folks, and we call Star Gods the folks who support us at the $10 level. Michael G.
Josh Link.
Jackson T. Overstreet.
Ryan from Across the Bifrost.
Mark Nivens.
Eric Hadley.
We also like to thank our pack members, Tim Tucker.
Brian from Marvel by the Month.
Blake, last name withheld.
Jeff Fitzpatrick.
Caleb.
Ben M.
Michelle from Moonlit Comics.
Rob Haferman.
Russ from Tomes of Evil.
Brad Elmore.
Johnny Turner.
Tony Iupi.
Jared Savedas.
Brink.
Bill from Long Island.
And David D.
Thanks, folks, for supporting us. You help make the show happen. Okay, Ray, thanks again. It was so great to see you and talk to you. Again, folks, check Ray's shows out. He is one of the greatest podcasters, comics podcasters out there. We love him. And, you need to check him out. He's good stuff.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, till we meet again neath the full moon, for everyone's Here's Howlin' At Ya.